beautiful people. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to do a DNA test. Yes, and I want to take you on the journey, let you know why I'm doing it and all of that. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, and if you are returning, thank you for returning. So the DNA kit that I'm using today is 23andMe, and listen to me, some of y'all might be like, oh my gosh, this is so controversial and all of that. Let me tell you something. I have zero attachment to this body vessel. All I want to know is just more about my ancestry, lineage, all of that, so that I can kind of connect the dots. And why is this important for me? Well, I started my spiritual practice. I've been really having conversations around ancestry, having more of an understanding of where my roots are. And I think if you had this question, you would absolutely understand why, you know, doing something like this can really help you to make sense of a lot of things that just don't make sense and kind of fill the gaps for you. So this box, it comes like this. There's a little hi document that just kind of tells you some things. Listen, I was going through this, I think, in a previous video, and then I realized that they say that you can't like eat, brush your teeth or anything for 30 minutes before you take the saliva sample. So this is what it looks like, and there is the thing for the spit sample in there and all that. So listen, let's just get into it. Let me do it. It might be a little gross, but I'm going to show you the real deal, all right? Okay, y'all, so it basically asked me to put in the barcode, which you'll see on this. So I put it in the app, and then it asks you to fill out some more information. And now, you know, you accept their terms and conditions. Give me a minute, because I'm a lawyer. I have to read this. Okay, y'all, so once I've read through all of the information, all of the contractual arrangements, all of the privacy and protection, confidentiality, sensitive information, etc., you now get to this part which allows you to spit. So first thing is no food or drink for 30 minutes, spit to the fill line, close funnel, detach funnel, seal it in the bag, and then mail it off. So yeah, let's get to spitting. Okay, hold a moment. Let me just read this. Let me just like read this to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. All right. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, I think we're at the fill line. Okay, so we should hear a click, right? I guess that was the click. Oh, we unscrew and then we cap. Shake the tube for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So cap tube into the plastic bag. Okay, I don't even know why I'm nervous, y'all. I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. Okay, so seal the bag. Seal the bag. Okay, seal the bag. Return the sealed plastic to the bag, to the original box. Okay, do this and then seal it. Okay, hope I didn't forget anything. Great, and there it is. Now it has to be shipped. So let's go to the post office. So hello beautiful people, I hope you are doing well. I had to give a saliva sample, and actually it took really long for them to finally say that they received the sample. Like, I even thought that they lost, you know, like Royal Mail lost my sample, because I was waiting close to a month and there was no update on, you know, them receiving it or not. So I was a bit like worried, but in the end they received it, and then it took probably like about 4 to 5 days for them to do the DNA analysis, and then for me to get a report and results. So I wanted to share my results with you because I found it to be like really interesting and just very confirming and validating for me as well. So the first thing is that they give you this really nice, I don't know if you guys could see it, but they give you this really nice like ancestry composition of the world, and then they tell you like, you know, different places that you may have some bit of lineage from, right? So when I look at my ancestry report, I am 49.8% Central and South Asian, 49.8%, and I am 39.5% Sub-Saharan African. Yes, so that means that I am more Central and South Asian, so more Indian, and then 39.5% Sub-Saharan African. East Asian and Indigenous America, I am 5.2%, and then 4.4% European. I found that to be so surprising. 4.4% European, and then 1.1% is unassigned. And they talk about maybe South America could be what that 1.1% is made up of. So let's jump into the 49.8%, which is Central and South Asian. So it's Central Asian, North Indian, and Pakistani. Not surprised. I'm not surprised. So it says the people of Northern India, Pakistan, and Central Asia have a shared genetic history influenced by the southward migration of peoples from Central Asia around 4,000 years ago. So this is all related to, and they should have just said it, it's all related to the slave trade. And when we think about Trinidad and Tobago was a port for indentured laborers from East India. So I did do some digging, and I found that my family did come from a very poor city in East India. And they also came as indentured laborers. Another thing as well too is that my last name Gajda is sometimes referred to in India as Gujada. I remembered when I took a trip to India, I think it was probably about 2 years ago, I did also go there and have a little bit of an understanding of where I came from. And when I went to India, I literally saw the reflections, the similarities in facial structure of my own East Indian family. It was like literally I felt like I was home when I was in East India. Now, I grew up in an East Indian household. My mom is Trinidadian, but she comes from East Indian heritage. And my father, he is African. I didn't grow up knowing my biological father, so that means that a large part of my African ancestry I never really knew and never really tapped into, but I was very much immersed in the East Indian culture. Lately, I enrolled in the Sacred Woman program by Queen Afua. If you all don't know Queen Afua, ladies, get on to Queen Afua. She is absolutely amazing in terms of teaching women about their wombs, teaching women how to heal themselves, teaching women how to tap into their spirituality, and I cannot recommend her enough. But what she does as well is she teaches about the African way of living, an African natural lifestyle. So a lot of your African heritage and your African healing rituals are highlighted in that program. And I realized, hold on, Shelly, you don't really know your ancestors like that. You don't really know your African ancestry like that. You didn't grow up knowing that. And that's when it kind of dawned on me that no, I gotta do the homework, I gotta dig deeper, I gotta ask the questions, I gotta read more, I gotta really understand where I've come from to have a greater appreciation for where I'm going. And even in growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, I was always very deeply connected to my Indian side, and somehow like the African side tends to be put to the side, and I really wanted to be a balanced Dougla. So a Dougla is somebody that is of mixed race, so you're half African, half Indian, and I really wanted to do justice and to give celebration to both sides of my ancestry. Now let's turn to Sub-Saharan Africa. 39.5%. I'm so happy that it's 39.5% because I find that when people look at me or they see my last name, they think that I am more Indian. Sometimes they don't even think that I'm mixed with African. They might say I'm mixed with, they're like Creole, which is like French Creole, or they might think that I have a mixture of like white and Indian. not realizing that my African is very strong in me. I feel, I look at my hair, when I look at the structure of my face, I can see my African ancestry. So I just feel very validated, very validated and very happy by this. And again, this is my whole kind of struggle with trying to identify as a Douglas woman, trying to identify as mixed race, and trying to understand both sides of the coin, of the same coin. So 39.5% sub-Saharan Africa, and as a matter of fact, the majority is West African. So 30.7% is West African, and the majority of it comes from either from Ghanaian and Liberian, as well as Nigerian. So Ghanaian, Liberian, and Nigerian. And that makes so much of sense, because I remembered when I first met my friend, she comes from Nigeria, and I remembered like we would like exchange about our home routines, and we exchange about our festivals and music and that sort of thing. And I realized that their way of living in Nigeria was very similar to my way of living in Trinidad and Tobago as a Caribbean woman. And that's when I started to realize this is closer than I think. I might be having some type of connection with West Africa, not knowing it. And this is why I say I feel so validated, because you start to see how the things that you've been feeling and experiencing, how the dots start to connect. The other thing that I found was really interesting as well is where it said East Asian and Indigenous American. 5% Indigenous American, and I actually think that 5% is pretty high for Indigenous America, especially when I don't necessarily have that connection. But as I said, my great-great-great-grandmother, she was a Carib. So this kind of makes sense. And it says, Shelly-Ann, your DNA suggests that 5% of your ancestry is Indigenous American. The first humans to reach the New World populated much of North, Central, and South America within just a few thousand years, following their arrival from Northeast Asia around 15,000 years ago. Despite drastic population losses over the past 500 years and genocide at the hands of the European colonizers, the genetic legacy of these early American trailblazers persists to this day, primarily in Central and South America. And I am just so grateful to have 5% of that inside of me. When I think about even my rituals and my spirituality, I remember like I love to listen to instrumentals. And I remembered when I was going into meditation and stuff, I loved listening to shamanic music. So drums, Indian flutes, and even this whole discourse of Pachamama and Mother Earth and the use of elements to heal myself. I was always drawn to it, and I never really understood why. And I was also a bit kind of like afraid of it all. And again, this is why it's so important to know your ancestry and know where you came from, because that's the only way you can really piece together where you are going. And now I understand why I have always been drawn to Indian flutes, why I have always seen myself as African, why I enjoy the Indian music and the Indian dance and food, why I see myself as so grounded in Pachamama and Earth. And it's because I have this running through my blood. I have this running through my veins. And even if I don't have the very close connections of somebody telling me the stories so that I can piece the pieces all together, I still feel very connected and validated. So this is what this exercise really did for me. I remembered I used to really struggle with religion and spirituality. I didn't really know where to place the things that I was finding in my own spirituality. I didn't know, like for instance, I would be very drawn to like crystals, or I'd be very drawn to healing with water, or I'd be very drawn to music where I don't even understand their language, particularly Indian music. And I didn't understand why I was so drawn to it. And I found it just very difficult to explain it, you know. But now this gives me more empowerment to explain why I feel what I feel, why I like what I like. And it's because my ancestors are you know, guiding me. So European at 4.4%, and actually that's a lot, I would say. When I look at how they've split it up, so Southern European, and they mentioned Spanish and Portuguese, so 3.1% Spanish and Portuguese, and then 0.3% Scandinavian and 0.3% Finnish. But Spanish and Portuguese, that makes sense to me as well. So this has been a beautiful, 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 affirming, confirming, and validating exercise for me. I really look forward to delving deeper into my African heritage, learning more about Ghana. I would love to visit Ghana, Liberia, and also Nigeria. These are places that I would love to make that connection with. I've already visited India. So the next stop is definitely Africa, and also embracing my African heritage by the way I wear my hair, by the colors that I wear, and that sort of thing. I find this to be a very exciting time to embrace my culture and my heritage. As a mixed race woman, it has helped me to become even more bolder in my expression of self. So if you are somebody that is interested in knowing more about your background and where you come from, I would highly recommend you doing it. As I said, I use 23andMe, and I'm really grateful now that I can speak from a place of confidence about who I am, where I came from, and that sort of thing. So I hope that this video was useful, it was helpful to you, it inspired you in some ways to try out a DNA test if you do want to, and I would just encourage you to keep seeking and keep knowing so much more about yourself. A lot about where you have to go is premised on where you came from, so don't be afraid to seek. I look forward to your questions in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. You are light, you are love, and you are destined for greatness. Go bravely, beautiful people. Mwah! Bye.